Hi again, it's Slobs, and this time I'm going to try and not my way through another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile, and this time it's Sylvans. So Sylvans are a plant combo deck, and they're the first archetype that kind of pioneered the excavate mechanic that we're now seeing on the Emancipators. So these guys have had time in the meta as well. Back when Soul Charge was at 3 was kind of when they were most prevalent. That's when you could Soul Charge 3 Lonefire Blossoms back and go mad plus off that. So it's nice that they've got a little bit of a combination of like all different types of extra deck monsters, you know, XYZs, Synchros, Links. So yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so to kick things off, we'll start with the Sylvans for a Sylvan deck. So it's 3 Hermitrees. I think Hermitree's probably the best Sylvan card. He's a bit of a brick when you draw him, but we have ways of getting him out and making him get onto the field, albeit his lack of desire to do so. So he's just a bit of a beater. He's got draw power, he's got excavate. He just requires support from surrounding cards. From there we've got 2 Sagequoia. So Sagequoia is he's better at getting out of the hand, but once he's on board he's less useful than Hermitree in my opinion. Obviously the excavate is still quite good. He can excavate 1 like Hermitree, but he doesn't get a draw after that. He's aged a little bit because he just doesn't have any, he doesn't provide any more momentum. He's good that he's level 7 though, because it means that he enables level 8 synchros. So from there we've got 2 Princessprout. I think Princessprout is probably the second best Sylvan. When it's excavated, you can declare a level from 1 to 8 and it becomes that level. So he's great at combining with your other components on your board to kind of produce your final end board. So from there I've got a couple of one-offs for Sylvans, and that's Peaskeeper and Cherubsprout. And again, I'd love to run more of these, I just can't really find the space. The Peaskeeper is a special summon from Graveyard, and when you are level 4 or lower. And Cherubsprout is you can special summon a level 1 from deck. When Peaskeeper goes off and you've got a Lonefire Blossom in the graveyard, you feel like an absolute boss. And obviously Cherubsprout is good for plucking out important parts of the combos from the deck. So from there you've kind of got your starters, and what plant deck would be without 3 Lonefire Blossoms. So this thing's still amazingly good. You know, it's there's a reason it's played in pretty much every plant deck. And from there we've got the 3 Scorpios which kind of back it up. So I think this is a really good. It's just a really good card. It hurts a ton when you get hand trapped, but it's unfortunately worth the payoff. And I think the only thing that I don't like about Scorpio is that because he's so powerful, every single line has almost been funneled down through that path. And then we've got 3 Evil Thorn, which Evil Thorn's got a bit more prevalence recently than it ever has in the past. I think it's definitely an underrated card. 2 bodies on board, both level 1. Inflicts that 300 damage for time. He's just another good starter, and with him combined with another extender, leads to effectively having a Lonefire Blossom, which is really good. So then we've got some extenders. So we've got Rose Lover, and again Rose Lover's not amazing in hand, but the extension is really good. So special summon from the hand by banishing it from the graveyard, and then we've got 2 of the new card, which is Rose Girl, and Rose Girl's pretty flipping incredible. So if a plant monster sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it from the hand. It's a tuner, so it enables Needle Fiber plays, and if it's in the graveyard, you can add it back if a plant type monster's on the field. Unfortunately, you can't use both. I can see why you can't use both, but it does limit the card a little bit. But basically, Rose Girl combined with Evil Thorn is the equivalent of having Lonefire Blossom, which is quite nice. So then we've got a few engine cards. So we've got the Darlington Cobra, which goes along with the Scorpio. We've got Spore, which is the best plant type tuner in the game now. And then we've got Recover, which is kind of my replacement for Glow Up Bulb. You can special summon it back from the graveyard if you have 5 more less cards in the extra deck, sorry, should I say. So 5 less cards in your opponent's extra deck. And that's a cost of 2,000 life points. It's not as good, and you could run Jet Sync on instead, but the main point is that this thing here, where it's Earth, which means it enables you to go to a Naturia Beast. And again, spoilers for later on in the combo. So then I've got 3 hand traps, and I'm running 3 effect veilers. You could run anything really. There isn't a plant type hand trap, which is a little bit sad, but because that would go really well, especially if you excavate and stuff like that. But for the sake of versatility, I think effect veil is pretty decent. So on to the spells, and to start off we've got 3 Sylvan Charity. So this is draw 3, place 2 back along with a Sylvan card. And there's a reason that Graceful Charity is banned, because draw 3 is nuts. I mean, obviously it's not quite as good, but the fact that you can dig so deep just with a single card is really, really solid. So it's just a great way of finding the pieces that you need and setting your deck up for further excavate plays. Then we're running 3 Call by the Graves. As I've stated before, hand trapping the Scorpio is almost a turn ender, so you need to be able to protect it. If I could play 6 of this, you might consider it. So there we've got some Monster Reborn cards. So we've got World Legacy Succession. You've almost always got a Link monster on board for that to be live. You've got Monster Reborn, which is your stereotypical Monster Reborn card, and then you've got Monster Reborn. So Lonefire Blossom is pretty crucial to plucking out the components that you need at the time that you need them, and as soon as you've got a Lonefire Blossom in the graveyard, these things become any monster you should desire. Reborn's quite good because, you know, quite a lot of the time you've gone Lonefire into Lonefire into Lonefire, which means that you can pick 3 Lonefires and you're guaranteed to have a Lonefire back from Monster Reborn. I was running the Symbol of Heritage, which is a similar gig as the Reborn, but I think Monster Reborn is just, how many times can I say Reborn? It's slightly more versatile. And so from there we've got a few one-offs and just generic goodness. So we've got 1 for 1. There's a lot of level 1s that you kind of want out of the deck, and that's a good way of plucking them out. Foolish Burial, similar deal. You can pluck stuff out of the deck when you need it, and then the Instant Fusion to go along with our Predaplant engine, and it's just a really solid card, and still is. Alright, so jumping into the extra deck, we start with Mudragon of the Swamp, and the main reason he's here is he's an instant fusion target, and he can change his attribute to Earth. And the reason that we need that is so that we can go to Naturia Beast. Now, Naturia Beast is by name and by effect an absolute beast. It can shut down certain decks immediately. It's just such a blowout card. And from there we've got some of our bigger bodies. So Borreload Savage Dragon, and I realise that my decks are now pretty much all of them have Borreload Savage Dragon in, which is not exactly what I've intended. Again, you can swap it out for Berserker for 10 years, something like that, if you don't want to splash out for the Borreload Savage Dragon. I should probably get rid of some of mine. And then the new level 9 Synchro, which is Ravenous Crocodragon. So he's a really good card. I mean, he's draw when you summon him. So normally we'll be just summoning him with, you know, a level 8 and a level 1, which gives you 1 draw, and then you can discard 2 to pop. It's a little bit sad because the level 9 Synchro tends to be a bit of fodder for True King of all Calamities. Again, I'm running that. So you sync Spore and Hermitree, go to Crocodragon, draw a card, which is quite nice, and then summon back the Spore using by banishing the Hermitree. It becomes level 9, and then you overlay into True King of all Calamities. But he's still a really good card, and you could leave him on board and use the Spore in other ways. So on to the XYZs. So we're running 1 Princessprite. It's the best rank 1 in the game. It's Excavation, it's Extension because it can special summon your Sylvan cards. It's just a really versatile card. From there we're running Dracossack, Felgrand, and Hope Harbinger. So Dracossack's pretty good for problem solving. It's got the pop effect. It can also be used to link climb should you need it. I think Felgrand's pretty underrated. I think you could definitely replace it with the number 90, I think it is, the Galaxy Lord. because that can negate effects that aren't just on the field. But I think Felgrand's got a good combination of proactive and reactive in his effects in terms of he can protect or he can be offensive in kind of stopping effects from going off. And then finally we're running the True King of all Calamities. His effect is just such a blowout. It's, you know, if you can get this and that beast out, you've almost certainly won the game. So from there we're on to the links. So again, Linkuriboh, we're running a lot of level 1s. It's a good way of getting stuff into the graveyard, stuff like Rose Lover and Spore, love being in the graveyard. They're running Cross Sheep and Halifabrax or Needle Fiber. They're pretty expensive, especially Cross Sheep considering it's a rare, but Cross Sheep is just perfect in terms of the Predaplant engine goes into Cross Sheep and then you can instant fusion and special summon something back, that ideally being the Lonefire Blossom. And then Needle Fiber is special summon one from deck, which is normally the recover, just so you can enable that Nat Beast play. So then we've got Jasmine, Barricade Ball Blocker. So Blocker is, you know, some stuff just wants to be in the graveyard and you need it to be there. So he's kind of a necessary evil. You could definitely take it out. I think he's more there in theory, I think, probably than the amount of times I've actually had to use him. Jasmine's a great way of kind of working around if you don't open Lonefire Blossom or the Predaplant engine. You know, you can use Evil Thorn, go to Jasmine. Jasmine pops, you know, kind of tributes another card, get out your Lonefire Blossom, and then you're there basically. And then finally, again, it's another one where we're running an expensive card. So it's Appaloosa, and again, you might notice that this one is not in English. I will have the translation here. But Appaloosa again is just such a powerful end card, and in combination Appaloosa with Nat Beast is almost a game ender again. So as you can see, we've gone zoomed out mode. That's for a combo, and this profile's combo is going to be Lonefire Blossom and any monster, which we've picked Hermitree as it's a Sylvan combo. So we're going to normal summon the Lonefire Blossom, tribute that off, to summon the Orphys Scorpio. So the Scorpio will discard your monster for cost, and you pray that your opponent doesn't have any interruption at this point. You get the Cobra, which adds you the instant fusion. You then link those two off for everyone's favourite cute rank Link 2, who's also pretty busted. It's Cross Sheep. You then pay 1,000 to activate instant fusion, which special summons the Mudragon. You've got to summon the Mudragon to the zone Cross Sheep points to so you can get its effect. So Cross Sheep will then special summon you back the Lonefire Blossom that you tributed as the first step. You then tribute the Lonefire Blossom again, and that's what makes it truly busted, is that it's not a once per turn. You then special summon the Spore. You link off that Spore to go to Linkuriboh. So Linkuriboh is basically increasing the amount of cards that we're removing from the extra deck. But Linkuriboh is as easy to summon from the graveyard as it is to summon from the extra deck, so it's not really much of a downside. We're then going to banish one of our plants from our graveyard, which could be, you know, anything, but probably the Darlington Cobra is the least useful. Up to interpretation, I suppose. To summon the Spore back, we're then going to link again to Cross Sheep and the Spore to go into Halifabrax or Needle Fiber. Needle Fiber will then special summon our Recover. So Recover's a pretty underutilized card in my opinion. So we've got an Earth, and we can activate Mudragon of the Swamp to make that an Earth. So we've got an Earth Tuner and an Earth. We're then going to sync those two together for Naturia Beast. So you might notice at this point that we've lost 5 extra deck cards. So that makes Recover live, assuming your opponent isn't playing a Monarch no extra deck. So you can pay another 2,000 life points to special summon back the Recover. So this combo costs you 3,000 life points, which I suppose isn't that cheap, but it's pretty decent for, you know, the 1.5 card combo. We can then link all of those off into your Appaloosa. So yeah, so that's as a 1.5 card combo. It's not too bad. You can use Evil Thorn and Rose Girl to kind of substitute your Lonefire Blossom. You use the Evil Thorn to go into Jasmine, and then Rose Girl would summon itself, and you can send the Rose Girl to summon the Lonefire Blossom, which gets you right back into the plays, basically. Alright, so that's the Sylvan deck profile. What's your, Sylvan builds? I'd be interested to see, because I think it's a really difficult one to get right in terms of you've got to balance having, plant monsters so you can excavate and get your excavate effects off, while, being able to do, your standard plays, basically. I think it has definitely lost a bit of the Sylvan element because of the link spamminess of the Predaplant engine, but the excavate mechanic is such a splash of fun, in a deck. I think just that randomness means that when you get it off, you really feel like you've got the heart of the cards, should it were, and it can still put out a very formidable turn 1 board. Alright, so that's this one. I've earned my way through another deck profile. Hope to see you in the next one.